We have all had disagreements with our siblings. Living in such close quarters is bound to result in the odd squabble. Even twins who have a strong bond with one another can have disagreements. Sibling rivalry is a natural part of childhood. Rarely does it end in death. Alice Richards, 14, was sick of her lively twin sister, Sally. The fraternal twins fought that day about using the family phone. When her 16-year-old brother, Edgar, physically restrained her, Alice became enraged. It was not Alice's turn to make a phone call. She threatened Sally with a gun. Her 13-year-old brother, Robert, who hid the family's .22 caliber rifle, was terrified by the scene. Horseplay, squabbles, and yelling are not uncommon in large families like the Richards. After a few hours, everything seemed to have faded, so Robert replaced the rifle in its usual location. Later that Saturday, March the 19th, 1950, Alice went to the neighbor's house where Sally was babysitting and stayed with her until the adults returned around 2 a.m. Back at home, Sally fell asleep quickly, but Alice remained enraged. She crept around the house, grabbed the rifle, and fired it at Sally's head. Alice walked coldly to the family phone, the same phone they had fought over earlier, and dialed the Fresno police. She informed the dispatcher that a murder had occurred at 4721 Harvey Avenue. Her mother was sleeping on the sleeping porch and overheard her dialing the phone. Mary told the dispatcher that she thought her daughter was having a nightmare and that she would look into it. She returned to the phone, sobbing, as she told the dispatcher that her daughter Sally was bleeding. Alice informed Fresno District Attorney Dan B. Eyman that she had shot her twin sister. Alice explained to Mr. Eyman, "I hated her because she was always stupid and loud and acted like a nut." Alice stated many times that she would do it again. Dan asked if she was sorry for what she had done. She said, "No, I hated her since the 6th grade. I feel bad for my folks. This will hurt my folks." Alice displayed no remorse for murdering her sister while she was in juvenile hall. She smiled at the photographers as she entered the juvenile court. She made an effort to avoid her mother. She pretended to be unconcerned about anything. She declined the invitation from the court to attend Sally's funeral mass and burial. I understand why she would refuse to attend Sally's funeral. It would be difficult for her to deal with the stares and the dirty looks she would receive. She was asked, "How did you sleep?" Alice stated it was the best night's sleep she had had in 6 years. After hearing reports from psychiatrists, juvenile authorities, and attorneys, Fresno County Juvenile Court Judge Arthur C. Shepard ruled that the blue-eyed blonde sophomore would be committed to a state hospital for an undetermined period. Alice climbed the fence of the Napa State Hospital later that year. She traveled 50 miles by hitchhiking. She went to the movies after purchasing a Coke and a donut. Later that day, she walked into a police station to turn herself in. When asked why she did it, she replied, "Have you ever been locked up?" Judge Shepard said they planned to handle this as a sick child. The courts felt her behavior was simple jealousy and sibling rivalry. I do not believe that she spent much time in the mental hospital. The records I found are not very clear. She was married in 1960 to Saul E. Schuenberger. It does not appear she had any children. She lived the rest of her life in the city and borough of Sitka, Alaska. This one is difficult. On the surface, she appears to be cruel and insane. Our brains, however, do not fully develop until we're nearing the age of 30. Perhaps Alice was immature and did not fully comprehend the consequences of her actions. We do not know if the guilt haunted her for the rest of her life. As I researched this story, it reminded me of an old movie I saw, Alice, Sweet Alice, from 1976. I believe the writer of this movie based it on this event. Do you believe Alice's life changed? Do you think she was sorry and had to live with the consequences of her actions? Do you think she should have received more time? Tell me what you think in the comments.